Hello, today is a Sunday, February 23rd, 2025. I thought tomorrow is my payday, but actually it's a Tuesday, February 25th. So I have to wait 2 more days until I get paid. This month, no bonus. So I would be still in the red in my bank account. I have overdraft account. So I'm into 1,000만 원 or about $9,000 in debt. Besides the $100,000 that I borrowed from the bank, I seem to be in the red all the time because my daughter is overseas studying for her college, studying in college, so I have to support her financially. So that means I'm in the red. I would be in the red for the foreseeable future, like 3 years from now. This article is from Family Handyman, and I will read this article to practice English, to learn English, to exercise my pronunciation, right? My practice of pronunciation. So, and also there was some issue with my car recently. The battery, the oil was kind of low, and it made a lot of terrible noises in the car engine. And when I try to swerve left or right, especially in the alleys where I could not speed up, the car engine stalled or just died on me, right? When you make a left turn, right turn in the fast, at a fast speed, no problem. The engine continues to run smoothly. But like in an alley or in a small road, you cannot speed very much. So you need to go slow and make a left turn. The engine dies. So let's find out what that happened. But here's what is called tip, and also spoiler alert, right? Engine fluid, right? Engine oil. Okay, so the subject is 15 things you should never do to your car by Rick Muscoplatt, updated on September 30th, 2024. All the articles on Facebook seem to be quite new, right? That's strange. No old articles appear on Facebook. And I wonder if the authors update the articles on a regular basis, or it's just that Facebook just pops up the articles there in the chronological order. I don't know what kind of this tea is, but it's good. I just brewed it, and it's quite peculiar taste. Okay, if your goal is to keep your car in great shape, don't even consider doing any of these things. Okay. 1. Never ignore rusting. When it comes to things you should never do with your car, ignoring rust isn't high on most people's lists, but it should be. The tricky thing about vehicle rust is that it's almost always worse than it appears on the surface. If you notice rust bubbling through your vehicle's paint job, don't ignore it. Do some careful poking and prodding of the area, and you will probably discover a section of metal beneath the paint, at least 2 or 3 times larger than the visible rust bubbles. Spots like this need to be stripped back to clean metal, then filled and repainted as soon as possible. Small nicks in the paint that become rusty are likely just the surface rust and aren't as urgent, but still shouldn't be ignored for long, lest they get worse. Here are some car maintenance basics everyone should know. Car maintenance basics. Car maintenance basics, right? Car maintenance. Nicks. There are small nicks in the paint, right? Bubbling through, prodding. Small nicks in the paint. Car maintenance basics. 2. Never overfill the tires to get better gas mileage. The internet is brimming with testimonials from people who claim they upped their mileage by inflating their tires to the maximum pressure listed on the sidewall. What they don't tell you about are the rougher ride, premature tire wear, longer stopping distances, and increased repair costs due to worn-out suspension components. Wow. I usually fill up a lot of air into my tires, right? I just try to go to the maximum pressure listed on the sidewall. But the problems with maximum pressure listed on the sidewall is that rougher ride, premature tire wear, longer stopping distances, and increased repair costs due to worn-out suspension components, right? Increased repair costs, longer stoppage distances, premature tire wear, and rougher ride. Okay, those are all good expressions, right? The maximum pressure, right? The maximum pressure listed on the sidewall, the rougher ride, premature tire wear, longer stopping distances, and increased repair costs due to worn-out suspension components. The recommended tire pressure for your car is listed inside the driver's door frame. Really, it's based on vehicle weight, along with the best possible handling. Oh, that sticker on the door seal, right? When you open the door to your driver's seat, there is but you don't close it, right? You keep the door opened, and you see the seal, some sticker on the seal, on the door seal, and you can find out what's the optimum tire pressure is for your car, right? It's based on vehicle weight along with the best possible handling. Inflating your tires to the maximum pressure listed on the tire is okay if you are hauling a heavy load, but you must reduce the tire pressure to the recommended pressure once you remove the load. Driving a normal load on overinflated tires reduces rolling distance, which can increase your mileage slightly. But several negative effects outweigh this small benefit. Overinflation increases stopping distances, causes the tires to slip, and hydroplane on wet roads. Wow, hydroplane, I didn't know. Hydroplane on wet roads and reduces the life of the tire. The harder tires also absorb less impact vibration, so they transmit more shock to your entire suspension system, causing a rougher ride. Worse yet, the additional tire bounce wears out your car's struts, strut mounts, shocks, springs, ball joints, and control arms much faster. Wears out. Also, check out these 10 traffic rules that everyone forgets. I will do that later. 3. Never use the wrong coolant antifreeze. Whether you do cooling system flushes yourself or just topping it off after a repair, using the right coolant is critical to the life of your car's engine and all cooling system components. The recommended coolant for your car is listed in your owner's manual. If you use the wrong coolant or mix different types of coolant, you can cause premature failure of your water pump, radiator, heater pipes, and heater core. That's because corrosion inhibitors are designed to be compatible with the specific metals used in the engine and cooling system. Each inhibitor package also must be compatible with the types of plastic and rubber used in seals, gaskets, and tubes used in your engine. If you mix coolants, the corrosion inhibitors in one type can be incompatible with the additive package of coolant already in your car. The inhibitors in the added coolant can reduce the effectiveness or even cancel out the performance of the corrosion inhibitors of the old coolant. Worse yet, topping off or flushing with the wrong coolant can damage the plastic and rubber seals and gaskets used in late model engines. The damage may not show until you've racked up 5,000 or more miles. When those parts fail, you probably won't connect the dots and realize they failed because you used the wrong coolant. If you can't find the exact coolant for your engine at an auto parts store, buy it at the dealer auto parts store. You may spend a whopping $10 more than you would for the universal coolant stocked at the auto parts store, but at least you will get the right coolant for your car. It's a small price to pay for peace of mind and increase the vehicle lifespan. This is quite a good cliche, man. It's a small price to pay for peace of mind and increase the vehicle lifespan. It's a small price to pay for the peace of mind and increased vehicle lifespan. Changing coolant prevents premature radiator and heater core failure. Check these cool tips on how to change your own coolant. 4. Watch this video to learn more about what not to do to your car and what to do instead. Okay, I'll do that. 5:15. Never mix up brake fluid and power steering fluid. The 1-pint bottle of power steering fluid looks almost like a 1-pint bottle of brake fluid. That's why so many DIYers mix them up. It happens more often than you think. If you add the wrong fluid to your power steering or brake system, the repair can easily cost thousands. Power steering fluid swells the seals in a brake system, causing total brake failure. To fix the mistake, the shop has to rebuild and replace the master cylinder, calipers, wheel cylinders, and proportioning valve. Sometimes they even have to replace expensive ABS components. Pouring brake fluid into your power steering reservoir is just as damaging because brake fluid isn't a lubricant, so it causes pump and steering gear failure. Always double check before you refill your brake or power steering fluid reservoirs. Get to know about DOT4 brake fluid. Learn how to check the remaining life on your brakes with this simple method. 6. Never use a universal fluid in your power steering or transmission. Several fluid manufacturers claim their universal power steering and transmission fluids work in all car makes and models. Car manufacturers disagree, and their arguments against using universal fluids are based on incompatible specifications, not greed. For example, there's simply no way a single transmission or power steering fluid can meet the different and mutually exclusive viscosity and additive requirements for every transmission and power steering system in use today. In fact, European, Japanese, and domestic car makers have differing transmission and power steering fluid requirements from model to model and even year to year, right? The recommended fluid for your car's transmission and power steering system is listed in your owner's manual. If your local auto parts store doesn't stock the exact fluid you need, try a different store or buy it at the dealer. It's simply not worth the risk to use a non-approved fluid in expensive components like your transmission or power steering. 7. Never disconnect a battery cable to test the alternator. Many years ago, you could disconnect a battery cable while the engine is running to test the alternator in your car. If the engine continued to run, that proved the alternator was working. But it's a test you should never try on a modern car or truck equipped with computers or and electronics. That's because disconnecting a battery cable while the engine is running causes the alternator to spike a 25 to 125 volt surge within 40 milliseconds after cable removal. That voltage spike can't damage anything in an old non-computerized car, but it can instantly fry the many computers and expensive electronics used on all late model cars. Repairing the damage can cost a small fortune. If your car or truck was built after the early 1970s, chances are it has at least one computer. So forget this old trick left over from the old days and test your car alternator with a voltmeter. Or take your car to an auto parts store that offers a free charging system diagnostic test. Next, learn how a diesel engine works with a diesel exhaust fluid. This one is a very important thing, right? 8. This is quite important. Never drive when your oil light is on. All cars have a low oil pressure warning light. If the light comes on while you are driving, it can mean that your car is dangerously low or completely out of oil. It can also mean your car has a serious leak that's causing a pressure drop. A clogged oil passage that's causing oil starvation, or that the oil pump has failed or is failing. Whatever the cause, when the light comes on, pull off the road immediately and shut off the engine. Then pop the hood and check the oil level using the dipstick. If the dipstick shows you are out of oil or dangerously low, you must add more oil before restarting. Driving a car when it's dangerously low or completely out of oil will destroy your engine in just a few minutes, and that can easily cost you thousands. Don't think you can drive to the nearest store to get more. It's not worth the risk. Instead, call a friend or family member and ask them to bring the oil to your location. Or better yet, travel with a jig of oil in your trunk at all times. The recommended type and viscosity is listed in your owner's manual. Add it to the filler port and check the dipstick to make sure it's full. Do not overfill. If the dipstick shows you've got oil, the problem is even more serious and must be checked out by a mechanic. There's really nothing you can do while you are on the side of the road. If the dipstick shows the engine is full, or you can't reach your friend to drop off more oil, call a tow truck. If you can't afford $200 tow, then you surely can't afford a new engine. Sometimes I overfill, right? Overfill. Never drive with less than a quarter tank of gas. The electric fuel pump is located inside the fuel tank on just about every fuel-injected car and truck. Car makers put it there on purpose so it's cooled and kept at a safe operating temperature by the gas in the tank. What does it mean? The electric fuel pump is located inside the fuel tank on just about every fuel-injected car and truck. Car makers put it there on purpose so it's cooled and kept at a safe operating temperature by the gas in the tank. I see. That's interesting. But if you constantly drive with less than a quarter tank, the low fuel level can't always provide enough cooling for the pump, and that can cause early fuel pump failure. Overheating isn't the only issue though. Consistently driving with a low fuel level causes the pump to suck in debris from the bottom of the tank. That debris can pass through the suck filter in the tank, and the particles can wear out the pump impeller, causing a low fuel pressure situation. This warning doesn't mean you have to rush to a gas station the instant you hit a quarter tank on the gauge. The fuel pump can easily handle occasional low fuel level operation. But if you consistently drive with less than a quarter tank, you increase your chances of early fuel pump failure and a big repair bill. Which gasoline should you buy? These are 10 things you should know about gasoline. Never use the wrong oil. 10. Greater sophistication in modern vehicle designs means using the right engine oil is crucial. Car makers up their game on engine design to meet higher mileage standards. Newer engines are built to more exacting tolerances and include high-tech mechanisms like variable valve timing, VVT, and turbochargers to squeeze more power and miles out of every gallon of gas. VVT systems work by pushing pressurized oil into hydraulic passages to advance or retard the camshaft. The pulse timing and associated camshaft movement is based on the oil type and viscosity listed in your owner's manual. It all works great if you use the right oil, and it gets messed up if you use the wrong oil. Using the wrong viscosity oil can actually set a trouble code and light the check engine light on your dash. The right oil is just as critical for proper turbocharger operation. A modern turbocharger can spin at rates as high as 240,000 RPM, which means the bearings must be constantly lubricated and cooled by the oil. If you substitute a different oil type or viscosity, you can change the flow rate, causing bearing overheating and early turbo failure. Learn how to choose the right motor oil and filter. So, ignore the advice from your buddies or engine oil experts and stick with the car manufacturer's oil recommendation. They design the engine and they are in the best position to know what fluids it needs. Wonder if engine additives really actually work? Here's the scoop. 11. Never use dishwashing detergent to wash your car. Dishwashing detergent is designed to aggressively attack and break down dried, unfood, oil, and grease. What do you mean? Attack and break down dry, right? Unfood and oil and grease. That's great for dishes, not so great for car paint. Car paint, clear coat, and car wax contain oils and resins that maintain the paint's integrity and filter out harmful UV rays. When you wash your car with a dishwashing detergent, you strip off the wax and pull some of those critical oils out of the paint and paint sealants, leaving it bare and exposed to the elements. If you immediately wax your car with a high quality wax, you can restore some of the UV protection. If you don't wax your car after washing with a dishwashing detergent, you lose important sun protection. If you regularly wash your car with a dishwashing detergent, you will degrade the paint and clear coat enough over its life to cause premature fading and even early paint failure. Car wash soap, on the other hand, is designed to remove dirt and grease without removing the surface wax and oils from the paint. It's also biodegradable, so the wash water runoff is safer for the environment. Wash water runoff. Find car wash soap at any auto parts store or in the automotive aisle at most big box stores. Big box stores, right? At most big box stores. That's another good term, man. Big box stores. Big box stores. And wash water runoff, like a rainwater runoff. It's cheap and better for your car's finish. Okay. Almost done, man. I'm getting tired. And 12. Never neglect the dipstick. The oil change intervals listed in your car owner's manual are based on the car maker's assumption that you will not only use the recommended oil, but that you will also check the oil on a regular basis and top it off when it's low. All engines use some oil between oil changes. Even some new engines can burn as much as a quart every 1,500 to 3,000 miles. If you never check your dipstick, you will never know that you need to add more oil. Worse yet, if you don't top off your oil, you stress the remaining oil, dramatically reducing its useful life. Let's assume the recommended oil change interval for your car is every 7,500 miles. If you burn 1 quart of oil in the first 3,000 miles, you don't replenish it. You deplete the anti-wear and anti-corrosion additives in the remaining oil by about 25%. If you burn no more oil, which is unlikely, Your oil will be worn out when you reach 5,600 miles instead of the normal 7,500 miles. If you continue to drive on that depleted oil until you reach the 7,500 mile mark, your engine can experience premature wear and develop sludge deposits. With an engine swap costing thousands, it pays to check your oil regularly and refill when it's low. Check out the things you should do to save money by changing your own oil. Yeah, in Korea we change oils a lot, right? But instead we should add oil, refill, right? It's much better to change the oils. 13. Never leave beverages inside your car. Since liquids expand when they freeze, you could be in for a big mess if you leave beverages in your vehicle for extended periods of time. When the temperatures dip below freezing,